Hello and welcome to Let's Get Growing, and today is the 21st of June, which means it's summer solstice, so it's the longest day in the northern hemisphere of daylight, so it's a really good time for growing plants like dahlias, which are in today's pack. So this is what we're going to start with. So they really like hot weather, the dahlias, so you should have one dahlia tuber. And what I've done with mine is I've soaked it in a bucket of water. So if you do that for about an hour, you'll get it off to a quicker start. So what I'm going to do with my dahlia is I've got a nice deep pot, and I'm going to use some of our homemade compost because they like it quite fertile and they like it quite rich. So I think this would be good. Put my compost in. I'm just going to go about 3/4 up with that, and I'm going to put a layer of peat-free compost in there, and now I'm ready for my tuber. So this is last year's stalk here. It's starting to shoot here. It won't take them long to come up. I'm going to put it a little bit deeper than it was. So you've got either cactus mixed, which is this one, or you've got red yellow. Going to fill it up. So I'll give that a water, and although dahlias do like a lot of water, I won't water it too much until it starts to put its shoots up, because you don't want the tuber to rot. And the other thing to remember in hot weather with plant pots was, one of my earlier tips was to use a tray. So you could sit it on a tray like that. And the other thing after you've watered is you could put a mulch on. You could put some more compost back around the surface, or some pebbles or some slates to help lock the moisture in. So that's your dahlias. So with them, they start growing now. They usually flower really late on until the first frosts in October, November. So I know it's a bit late to be starting them off, but I think we'll get some flowers out of them. Now the next things in your pack. So a lot of people have been struggling with these this year. So we've got courgette and we've got a dwarf French bean. So some of our first crops weren't very good. And as I said to everybody, it's not too late to do another crop. Now the weather's warmed up and today it's scorchio. There's really starting to romp away really. So what I'm going to do with these, I mean, you could plant them straight out into the ground, but they're still quite tender at this stage. So if you have a lot of slugs and snails, I think it'd be better to try and grow them on until they're a bit stronger. So I've got a bigger pot. I'm just going to use my peat-free compost. So we'll tip it up. Try not to disturb that. It's got a nice root ball. Put it back in the middle. Compost around the sides. And I think this one is a variety called Black Beauty. It's not a black courgette, I think it's a dark green one. Okay. Put the label back in. And again, give that a water. And then my French bean, you could put it in the ground. I'm going to put it in a nice deep pot. I'm going to see what happens with it. Same principle. I'm going to tip it. Try not to disturb it. Put my compost back around it. Put my label back in. And that's done. So all of the 3 plants in your packs today, they're all heat lovers. So they're frost tender plants, but they love this time of year. Even so, what I would do with all 3 of them before, well, these 2 especially, because I've transplanted them, you kind of make them a little bit weakened for a day or 2. So I'm going to keep these, I'm going to water them, and I'm going to keep them in the shade for a day before I put them back into the sun, just to get them nice and strong. And then we're going to look at some of the plants from previous packs. So I did notice that my chard, it's grown. I think it's ruby chard. So I'm going to look at its base. Whoa, and that really needs to either go in the ground or put it in a bigger pot. So I'm going to put it in a bigger pot. I think I am going to just tease these out just a little bit. It does look a bit pot bound. These are really decorative chard. It's red veins. Okay, so I've still got all my snapdragons, which I need to do something with, because they really need potting on and planting out. So I've decided I'm going to make a planter up, and because they're not that fussy, I'm going to use some of our homemade compost. Which is quite rough, but it'll be fine. So I'm going to do the same again, fill it about 3/4 full. I'm going to put a bit of peat-free compost over the top of it, and then I'm just going to, should have watered these really before I planted them. I think there's all sorts in here. I've got a lettuce as well. So these are the anti-rhinums, snapdragons, so they're nice and colourful. I'm just going to fill the pot up with them. I don't think I'm bothered about the lettuce actually. And just put compost around them. And again, after this, I would probably sit them in a tray of water in the shade for a day or 2 till they've picked up. And there's another one to add to our ever-growing collection. Okay, so I think that's all the things I need to deal with here. So we're just going to go up to the polytunnel and have a look at some of the things from our previous packs. Okay, so this is my moneymaker tomato plant, and you can see we've got some tomatoes on it. There's some more flowers here, so it would be a good time. There's some form in there. It'd be a good time to give this a feed with the stinky comfrey brew. And then in here, there wasn't lots of carrots, but you can see there is one in there. And my cayenne pepper's doing okay. It's not flowering yet, but it seems to be doing all right. And these are the dwarf sunflowers. I think they were little Leos. And the calendula's flowering, and then also the Viper's Gloss, Hechium, pretty little thing. And then we look over here, you can see the potatoes are being eaten by something. Not quite sure what. I think we seem to have a lot of moths eating things this year. I can't see. It could be green fly. I think it must be green fly. It's quite unusual really for potatoes, but I will try and research that a bit further and find out. And then behind here you can hopefully see the hollyhock there flowering in the distance. That was the mixed planter, and I put in with the broad bean. So gladioli is not flowering just yet. Possibly, it should be okay in that pot, I think. So we've got a lot going on, haven't we? So the rosemary, and I think these are the allium bulbs. I'm very pleased with the sunflowers. There's little sunflowers as ever. There's another one going to open its head up there. So I think that's it. So it'd be great to see what progress you're making at home with your plants. And any pictures, please put them on our Facebook page. We'd love to see them. So happy gardening and happy summer solstice, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.